then go come back 2 hours later, test positive again. I'm not cleaning that data, right? So you're just another positive test. So in reality, I may have tested 40 distinct individuals, but I performed 100 tests. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So when I used to be in New York, I see all these homeless people lined up outside of these testing facilities. It was called City MD. Anyone in New York in the chat? I know Seven Seals is familiar with it. There was one on Utica and Lincoln Road, and all these homeless people every morning. It'd be freaking cold out there, bro. They'd be out there, and one day I went up to them and I said, "Hey, man, why are all you people in line? You look healthy. You stand out here in 20-degree weather. You got to be healthy." They were homeless, bro. They were getting paid to take the test. So they were going all around all the city centers, getting paid, taking the test. Hell, positive, negative, it didn't matter to them. They were doing it for the money. And the city MD company, well, they were doing it to get paid. And I'm sure there was some incentives, positive versus negative tests. And boom, there you go. Therein lies the incentive for people to pad the statistics right there.
I think the biggest thing that woke me and the wife up to it, though, was the wife was pregnant, right during the height of COVID. And obviously, we gave birth to our middle daughter. She's 4 now, like right in the middle of it. All right. Right when it was the big scare and shit, when hospitals were pretty much shut down to anything but COVID or like major emergencies. Or someone who was giving birth. And I remember when we went to the hospital, we were being told on the news, even in our local area, that our local hospitals were inundated with all these COVID patients. You know what I'm saying? Like they had the barriers set up outside the hospital like they did everywhere else and everything, and had these specific routes you had to walk to get in the hospital and everything. And when we got in there, and when it came time to give birth to the baby, there was literally nobody. I mean, there was not a single soul in the hospital. Not a soul. I mean, and it was the wildest thing I'd ever experienced in my life. Great, go to the hospital, and this hospital's supposed to be like overrun with all these people dying from this disease, and there's literally nobody in there dying from this disease.
That must have blew your mind.
Dude, in ways that you never could understand. For real, because I couldn't even fathom why they would even begin to tell a lie like that if that wasn't what was happening.
Yeah. And what did your wife think when she saw it? Was she blown too? Damn.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kind of, in all honesty, that's what really opened her eyes up to it, because she was a little more fearful. She was one of the people who was considered a essential worker because she was a store manager at one of the local department stores. You know what I'm saying? So they were given some of the department stores, even though they didn't sell what they considered necessities, like food, water, shit like that. They sold small medical supplies in their department store, which kind of gave them a little bit of I guess, a loophole to be able to stay open. So she was out there dealing with the public, and she was a little bit more worried about it than I was. I mean, I remember when she first started going back to work after having a baby, she'd come home first few days and she'd strip all the way down before she'd even come in the house. She put all the,
she believed in that. Hey, what Snowman, what kind of work do you do, if you don't mind me asking?
Well,
what kind of work were you doing during COVID?
During COVID, before COVID started, I was just getting my music career and art career up and going. And COVID killed that.
Or killed you?
It killed it, dude. I was finally starting to make money off of my art and stuff, and had finally become a solidified actual artist. I'd finally started selling some of my artwork and stuff, and was finally starting to get gigs to where I could go out and perform for people and stuff. And dude, it wasn't but like 6 months into that stuff finally starting to come around. That's when COVID hit, and it put the kibosh on everything. And I haven't been able to bounce back since.
Are you still doing art in your music? You play music, you perform?
Well, I used to perform. Like I said, I used to. It's hard to find. It's harder and harder now to find gigs. And to be quite honest with you, after COVID happened and the gig thing kind of got shut down, I took all the equipment that I had and I put it into YouTube. To be honest with you,
Snowman, hold your thought. Oh, you keep talking. I can hear you. I'm just gonna grab a beer. Is that all right?
Oh, you're good.
All right, you can keep talking because my mic is loud as hell. I can hear. I mean, my earphones loud as hell. I can hear you.
Right.
Oh, my bad, Snowman. My bad.
Oh, you're good. But nah, man, I've been more so for going on 6 years now. I've been a stay-at-home dad. You know, a lot of people don't have a lot of respect for stay-at-home dads, but you know, I ended up injuring my back years ago and I've been fighting with workman's comp for a lot of years to, you know, get my back taken care of. And basically they kept giving me the runaround. You know how workman's comp goes. They do everything they can to avoid doing what they're supposed to do. You know,
Snowman, how does that make you feel then? You know, and I know a little bit off topic. You've been hearing my, you know, I probably going on and acknowledging people probably tired of hearing me talk about the migrants. But how did you feel seeing the migrants getting all this largesse and then, you know, after COVID, all this, you know, is
it really any different than what they've been doing with the migrants? I mean, this is something that whether it's been a myth or a conspiracy theory or not, my whole life I've heard that, you know, anybody that decided they wanted to be an immigrant to this country, you know, they started out in this country with being given a check and a leg up over the American citizens. I've heard that my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, so it really isn't no different than before, be quite honest with you. The only difference now is they're throwing them more money and giving them more opportunities.
Fair enough. Hey, thank you for joining us, Snowman. I'm going to bring Righteous Muffet up. I want to hear your story. I want to give everyone their chance to tell their story because I'm interested in hearing, and I didn't want to people interrupting you.
That's cool. That's cool.
You know what I mean? Yep. It's just a different style. You know, if you want to come back, I'm going to open it up to everyone.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Thanks, Snowman. You're up next, Righteous. What's up?
Hey, Righteous, good morning, sir.
Yeah, because I wanted to hear your story, man. I'm glad you held on.
Oh yeah. I thought you were just opening it up. So
I am.
But I wanted
to give everyone their chance to talk one-on-one, right? If you know, so
sorry, I just need to finish working off this can real quick.
You're not that sorry.
Hell no.
But you know, you work for your brother. So
if
you work for a private company, you may have. But what do you think?
Well, here's the thing: is actually during COVID, I actually worked for a friend of mine doing AC work.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had a different job at the time. I still worked with, you know, I still worked for a small business, and he'd been a lifelong friend of the family. And he was someone who thought similar to me. So I mean, yeah, look, I got very fortunate.
Okay. Do you think you would have succumbed to the pressure if you worked for a regular company?
The
fuck off my life. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I know. I was. You know, I was actually thinking about it. You know, this is. I try to make sure to actually be honest. You know, it's one of those things where it's so hard to really know what I do. I think if I had all the information that I had at the time, if I'd still been listening to all the same stuff, I don't think I would. I think I would have been able to find some loophole to be able to get out of it. I would have fought for religious exemption or something, because there were ways to be able to get out of it. You know, there are things that you could do. I'll be honest with you. I can't say 100% sure whether or not I would. I'm going to say I would like to think that I would have.
Have you ever been tested for COVID?
Yeah, once. Because
why were you tested?
So I was supposed to go out of town actually. So actually, it was a weird transition. I worked for the AC guy for part of COVID, and then I went back working for my brother through the other part of it. And so I was actually I was back working for my brother, and I was supposed to be going down to work on a military base, handling, getting rid of asbestos and that sort of stuff. And then I woke up one morning, and I was drinking a cup of coffee, and it just tasted so weird. It went from, I put in French vanilla creamer in my coffee, and it went from tasting like that to like pickles or jalapenos. It was really weird. So I went off and got tested, and one lab said no, and then I was just unsure about it because of how weird it was that my taste buds got messed up the way that they did. And then I went to one of the state funded ones, the free ones, and they were weird because when 1 second, sorry, my daughter came in. 1 second. Huh? Sorry. Sorry about that. She just got home yesterday, okay. And she was spending the night with the neighbor's house, so she was just coming over here.
Oh, you have custody of your daughter today?
For the school year, yeah. She lives with me she lives with me full time during the school year.
Okay.
Her mom lives in a different state, so
let me ask you this question. Since you mentioned your daughter, has this changed your opinion about getting your daughter vaxxed? The whole legal
for anything?
I'm asking you. It's open-ended. Whatever you want.
No. Like I'm saying. Are you saying like COVID vaccines in general specifically, or all vaccines?
Has it done anything to your trust in the medical field, the medical industry?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was already hesitant. Of some stuff. Like when before, how you have to get your kids certain shots before they can go to school, get your kids vaccinated for stuff. They come at me wanting to give like a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of vaccines to her. And so we're talking, 5-6 years ago, well before COVID and all that sort of stuff. And I even told them at that time, I said, look, you're only going to give her the vaccines that she absolutely has to have to be able to get into school. And that's it. Not a single one. After that, they wanted to give her like the I think it's the hepatitis one, like
it's one for sex. What is the one for sex? Is it HPV?
HPV, yeah, right. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, no, why are you trying to? No, you can get the fuck out of here with that.
Do you think it was a psyop?
Same thing with the whooping cough and that sort of stuff. Like there are tons of them where it's just like, no, man.
Do you think it was a psyop by the government?
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, not necessarily the vaccine, but definitely the COVID sickness. Yeah. I mean, dude, we other than China coming out and admitting it. I mean, come on, man. Where else could it have come from than their Wuhan lab virology?
You think it came from China?
Well, we know it came from China. It's just whether or not it came from the wet markets.
How do we know that?
Because that's where it started.
Did you see my stream where I talked about VMware?
Where you talked about what?
VMware.
No, sir.
Let me see if I can find that article. I know they've taken it down though, so I may not be able to find it, but
because here's the thing: is the first people to get COVID, or how about this? The first people to get COVID like symptoms, because I don't think they ever actually admitted to it, just so happened to be scientists who were working at the Wuhan lab of virology. And if I remember correctly, I think that was in October or November of 2019.
And you believe it?
Yeah. I mean, look, I do. Yeah, I mean, I do believe that. It's hard to know exactly what to believe, especially coming from China. You have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, I gotta I gotta work with the info that's given, and I can determine for myself whether or not I think it's true. It was mass reported by tons of media. Not saying that necessarily makes it true, but
yeah, mainstream media definitely reported on it quite a bit. I'm going to see if I can find this article, and then I want you to come back up when I open the panel if you have time, because I would love to get your opinion of the article. We're going to talk about COVID really real and things like that, and I would love to get your opinion. What do you think?
I'm so sorry, my daughter was talking to me. What you said? You want me to just come back when
I'm going to open the panel up. Yeah, when I'm done, because we have one more guy in the back. I want to get his COVID story, and then I want to bring you back up because I don't think COVID was real, and then I want to get you guys' opinion past you all about it. But let me bring up Eric right now. He's in the back. I think he's still in the back. Let me see if he's still in the back. And he may have stepped off. Let me ask you this: did your is it ex-wife or the mother of your daughter, did she get vaccinated?
No.
You were able to talk her out of it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I because that was the thing, is like from the beginning, look, and that's one of the things, that I was hearing Angry Black Man talk about, is that we just didn't know too much and this and that, but the truth is that it just depended on who you listen to. So, for instance, Steven Crowder. I don't know. You ever heard of Steven Crowder?
Yeah.
Okay. And then also there's a guy named Matt Walsh on the Daily Wire, and there's a few others, but they were every day or every other day in the very beginning, before it even came over to America, they were parsing through the data that we'd been given from China. Again, obviously, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But if we're going based off of China's own data that's coming from them, we knew well before it hit our shores that the majority of people who were dying were old people and fat people, or what is it? Multiple issues,
comorbidities, as they call it.
Thank you, Jesus, couldn't think of it. Yeah, so we we knew that the average age of death for COVID before it hit our shores was extremely high, and that the symptoms were like flu-like symptoms, or at least some people knew that, and they were talking about it based off of data that we were getting from China. So this lie that we just didn't know, it's just not true.
Now, I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. I did a stream about COVID when I got a ticket for not wearing a mask. Did I ever tell you about this? Okay, you never saw that stream. I'm going to see if I can find it, because it's a short stream. I think it was a short stream, but I'll just show you the picture. If I can't find the stream, then I'll just show you the picture. But guys in the chat, if you saw that stream, let me know if you saw it. But yeah, so I'm at a restaurant during height of COVID. I ordered some food. This guy says, "Hey, you got to put a mask on." I said, "No, I'm not doing that. Just give me the food." He refuses to give me the food, so he calls the police on me, and the police got there. Took about 10, 15 cops. I can't remember how many it was, and they didn't have a ticket book to write me a ticket. So they had to. So they brought one.
They pull a mask. Did they pull a mask out of their pocket and write your ticket on the mask?
What they did was they did end up writing me a ticket, but I'd have to give my ID because I broke no law. So they wrote the ticket to They wrote the ticket to John Doe. If you can believe it, they wrote the ticket to John Doe. As a matter of fact, since you're here, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so not even your name and a non-enforceable ticket. So
right,
they just gave bullshit. Because honestly, let's be honest, the majority of what it was had to do with a power trip. So again, look, I really wish that COVID would have really opened more of the conservatives' eyes on the police and policing, because that seeing what happened in several states, especially up north, and even in some of the southern states, when it came to curfews and that sort of stuff, and cops pulling people over, like this chick that used to work for us. She had gotten up super early to drive into work, and there was a curfew in one of the counties that she had to drive through, and cop pulled her over. It was like 10 minutes before the curfew was up, and the cop literally pulled her over and made her sit on the side of the road until the curfew was up.
Wow!
So because COVID doesn't attack. COVID doesn't attack between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that's when it's at its height. Everybody needs to stay inside.
I remember those days. Hey, look! Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, no. I mean, I see right. Now. I see your screen.
Take a look at this. This is a ticket that I got during COVID. Let me see if I can zoom. I'm sure I can zoom. Look, you see who they wrote it to? John Doe. Address. I didn't have to tell them address, so they wrote it: green shirt, gray pants, male, black, right? Eyes, whatever. And you can see the date. It's either 8/1 or 8/2/2021, right? And the address is looks like 700 Florida Avenue, Northwest DC. Man, it took them 20 cops to give me that ticket. If you can believe it. You can see it, right? It took them 20 cops, man, 10, 20 cops, man, to write me one ticket for not wearing a mask outside. And I made them write the rule. I made them. Look, I could have left, man. But I wasn't leaving. Yeah. I said, call them all, man. Bring me a cop that got a ticket to write me. I want me a ticket. Mm-hmm. I could have left, man. I could have said, you know what? I'm out of here, man, before the police come. Nah.
Yeah, because the truth is that, like, okay, look, dude, with this bullshit crap that you just gave me, like, what is even the point of this, sir? It's not. It's non-enforceable. It doesn't have my name on it. It doesn't mean shit. So all you're doing is just trying to exert some authority and power over me. What the fuck, man?
Hey, you know what's so interesting? You know what's so interesting, man? Like, this gonna blow your mind. The restaurateur, the person who called the police on me, I almost called him an MFer, but I let him slide, right? I'm trying to clean up my language here. And so he was mad that they did not enforce the law. That shows you how crazy people were during this time. He was mad that they couldn't do more to me than write me up. When they wrote me that John Doe ticket, it pissed him off even more because he had been sacrificing himself, serving food outside instead of using the whole restaurant that he paying rent. Because he had to pay rent for the full damn building, even though no one could come inside and no one's sitting outside in the middle of the winter in this little hut you just built. Because it's a small restaurant and he had the money to build them exquisite outside restaurants. Because some of the restaurants here built really exquisite outdoor restaurants. Go ahead.
And again, John, if anything, again, what it highlights is people's ignorance, their lack of understanding, and their lack of actually doing any research and looking into anything at all. There was never any laws. That's the thing that people didn't understand. None of this stuff was actually law. That's why he couldn't give you a ticket. That's why it's a non-enforceable ticket. And so that restaurant guy to get angry that they weren't following the law or whatever. It goes to show that
He
nobody
wanted me to put
knew
the mask on.
that there was no law.
Listen, you know what? You know what's so interesting about this? He wanted me to put the mask on more than he wanted to take his off. Think about that shit. That motherfucker. I'm sorry. He wanted me to wear the mask more than he wanted to take his off. That's amazing, bro. Like that shows you what kind of psychosis these people were going through. That he called that this same damn liberal during the summer of love, or this probably was the summer of love. He ain't called the police on any of them damn people knocking his windows out, causing him to have to board up his. He never called the police. He knew not to call the police on those people. But for me, for not wearing a mask, and the last thing he want to see is me with a mask. Well, if I put a mask, bro, I swear he don't want to see me. I swear. Well,
here's the other thing, John. Here's the other thing to remember. Not only, I'm glad you brought up the summer of love, because not only did those same people not get mad about it, then the doctors and nurses actually came out and signed a piece of paper saying no. It's totally okay for these people to riot and protest because that's way more important and harmful than COVID is.
That should have blown the top off of most people right there. You get to protest a drug addict, right? You do that in violation of all the health law. Fauci said, you know what? I don't think COVID would bite these people. If it do, it won't bite them that bad.
There was literally news articles. There's literally news articles written saying that not only did they not spread those protests, not spread COVID. COVID was actually probably lower among those people than the conservatives who were out protesting for their jobs and their livelihood.
Yeah, it made a fool out of you. They made a fool out of you.
I mean, look, dude. Yes, this was absolutely the biggest. So you asked me earlier, was this a psyop? Yes, this is absolutely the biggest, one of the biggest psyops in the freaking world. And unfortunately, it has worked. I mean, dude, even here we are, even now, years later, and we get information that comes out about COVID and the vaccine and all that good stuff, and people don't care. They have been so brainwashed and beaten. They were beaten down and brainwashed and didn't do. Here's the other thing: they didn't do any research of their own. They didn't look into anything at all. They didn't look anywhere outside of the mainstream media and the mainstream narrative. They just gulped it down and said, "Yes, sir. Give me another bite."
Hey, Righteous, you're a blue collar man, right? Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Do you follow the news closely? You know, you're working shit. Like, does a blue collar man follow the news closely? Where do you get your news from?
I don't follow it. I don't follow it as closely as I used to. I'll be honest with you. Ever since I started watching, streams like yours and CTs, I don't listen to the news as much as I used to. Because the thing is,
you don't get to hear shit like this on the news, do you?
No, this is way more fun. Distracts me from, the hopelessness that is our country right now.
Yeah, well, we're not hopeless, man. We're all gonna form this. We all come together. Hey, man, shit. I blew through that last beer real quick, man. Do you mind if I get one more?
No, I don't care. Right, sure, John. Do what you want. You said you could hear me, though, right? Is it okay for me to talk while you're getting your beer? Nah, just wait.
I got more weed than beer these days. I might have to call GoPuff or something. Get him to bring some weed through here. I've been some beer through here. I got more weed than beer right now. I'm upside down, Righteous, as they would say in the business. But go right here.
Well, so you were asking me about my news sources and that sort of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Or what I listen to? Like, no, I don't. I don't really listen to mainstream media. I used to back when I was a leftist. I used to listen to CNN all the time, and gulp it down years ago. And then honestly, I get my news from different sources on YouTube. I used to have there's I mostly listen to centrists or libertarians, and then several conservatives. So like during COVID and stuff, I listened to Steven Crowder and Matt Walsh, and then I also listened to Ben Shapiro at the time. but then because of the way that Ben was about people getting the vaccine and wearing the
Oh,
mask.
he was avid, right? He was really
Oh
avid
yeah.
shit, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then he tried to retcon it. He tried to act like he didn't say that shit about the masks. Like I specifically remember him making the comment, "Just put on the mask, stupid," something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, bro, go fuck yourself.
You were done
And then
with him, right?
you know, yeah. And then look, from time to time, I'll check in. I would check in on some of the things that he'd say.
Mhm.
You know, because he's reporting news, and I know that.
Mhm.
But you know, he's such a war hawk when it comes to any fighting over in the Middle East, the Israel-Palestine stuff. Like basically any war, the Ukraine-Russia stuff. Like he is all for. We should absolutely be sending money and all that sort of stuff. So I stopped listening to him because I just can't stand to hear him say how we just need to get involved with every single war.
Yeah, he's like with the next thing, whatever the next thing is, he's with it, right?
Yeah. Dave Smith, the libertarian Dave Smith is a really good one to listen to as well. So recently I listened to a little bit of Nick Fuentes, not too much.
Oh yeah, I like him. I like him. Yeah.
I listen to him once in a while.
Hey, you ever listen to Andrew Anglin? Andrew Anglin.
No, I've heard the name.
You should check him
I've heard
out.
someone
He's
mention
very
it.
good. Yeah, you should check him out. He's very, he's not for everyone, right? He's very much against the small hats.
Good. Everyone should be.
Hey, we have someone joining. I'm going to bring him up, and I'll bring you up when I open up the panel to everyone. Sounds good.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Later.
Hey, man. Thanks for joining. I'm glad to hear your story is very interesting. I didn't get a chance to ask you everything, but
I know. I was about to say we barely got into it, John.
Man, yeah, we could do probably 5 streams on this. But let me bring up.
I was about to say because there was one. I did get kicked out of a house one time because I refused to put on a mask.
Oh shit! Yeah. You should have told me that. But we get back to that because I'm a landlord. I never kicked anyone out for wearing masks.
Yeah.
You got
I got someone at my door, so I'm gonna let you go.
All right. Bernard, what's up, man? You took it. What are you telling me? How many shots you take, Bernard?
About as many brain cells as Joe Biden got.
That's about one shot. You're a one hitter quitter. You took the J&J.
No.
So you didn't take it at all, huh?
No, I didn't.
No.
Can you hear me?
We keep it real over here, right?
Of course.
And you're a black guy. I'm black.
I try to be.
I know I was in the black. I know how it was in the black community now.
I try to be. Others say I'm not.
But I was in the black community, right? You know how it was. Tell me how it was in your part of the black community.
What? You not getting the jab? What's wrong with you? Your boy Trump said you should get the jab.
Oh, they try to use the Trump shit on you, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Listen, I love cheap gas and low taxes. He's not Jesus.
And
when
are you a religious man?
My faith has gotten stronger in the past 7 years. Yes.
How strong did your faith get in the last 4 years?
If it wasn't for the fact that I'm a fornicator and a cusser, I'll be the perfect Christian.
Nobody's perfect. Let me ask you, since your faith has gotten stronger, how did it make you feel seeing all the churches succumb to the COVID money and just closing down?
It was mind-boggling, right? Because growing up in North Augusta, South Carolina, Aiken County, South Carolina, the church, every Sunday, every parking lot was full. It was like, church was a staple of the communities, right? And nothing could stop church, right? And I used to be a law enforcement officer, and we had an unwritten rule in my jurisdiction that on Sunday mornings, no high-speed chases.
Really?
Right.
Because of the churches?
Because of the churches. Now, obviously, if somebody just committed a murder, special exceptions. But it's kind of like, like during church, churches, I'm not going to say they did everything, but the church had respect. And I remember as a little kid, we would, there was a Catholic church that was across the street from my aunt's house. They had a big field. So when I would go over my aunt's house, me and my cousin, neighborhood kids, we'll go across the street and we'll go play ball on the field at the church. And we had an unwritten rule, which was no profanity while we're playing on those grounds.
How old are you, by the way?
42, on the 17th.
And where did you grow up, in the South somewhere?
Yeah, Aiken, South Carolina. Aiken County, South Carolina.
Man, I got a buddy right down there right now.
What?
Matter of fact, I may put him on the phone right now. I think he's in Aiken or somewhere down there. Did you go to Vacation Bible School growing up?
Yeah, actually, that was the first time I went to the beach. Vacation Bible School.
Yeah, all that shit was closed down during the
Well, how can I say this? In strong Republican districts, they tried, but they found a way around it. Okay, cool. You don't want people indoors, we'll have the service outdoors, right? But if you were in a more blue area, it was shut down. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. Also, those churches, here's the thing that pisses me off the most about COVID. They shut down a lot of AA meetings and NA meetings. And alcoholism and drug abuse are vices in my family. So when they took those opportunities of recovery away from the addicts, that pissed me off more than anything else.
Wait a minute. So you couldn't go to AA meetings during COVID?
A lot of them shut down because they were held at churches.
That's right. Oh man, I ain't thinking about that, bro.
Yeah.
Damn. I ain't thinking about that shit. That's wild.
That pisses me off because when people want to, I know what it's like to see somebody kick addiction behind and move on to a better life, and it is the most beautiful. Well, I'm saying once they get over that hump, it's the most beautiful transformation that you could ever see.
Right.
And then if you go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and you listen to the addicts tell their stories about what they did to get high, and then to see.
I've been before.
Right. So you understand what I'm saying?
I understand. I've been many times.
Yeah. Right. And I went voluntarily. I went before I became a police officer because I'm like,
me too.
If I'm gonna be dealing with these folks, I kind of need to have some understanding why they do what they do. So that way
I went with my dad. So I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And I went there and to listen to single mothers, the things that they had to do to get drugs. And now they're clean. And COVID, when the lockdowns happened, they shut down the churches.
Took their support system away.
Man, pissed me off. I'm still pissed off about that.
Let me ask you about this. Do you think the people would have been better off? Do you think their addiction was worse than the risk of COVID? It'd have been worth keeping the damn narcotic anonymous place open, even if the people caught COVID died. In other words, would it have been worth allowing these people having their NA support, even at the risk of COVID? I mean, we let people march for George Floyd.
Yes.
Right.
I haven't even got that far yet. I'm still in the beginning. Yes, because that support system for people who are recovering from narcotics is worth more than the risk of COVID. Right. Because I mean, if you take away that support system, they run back to drugs. Now they're in an enclosed space with people who possibly have COVID, pneumonia, COVID, HIV, COVID, hepatitis C, COVID, herpes. And now they're sharing drugs, whether it's needles, pipes.
So you think that they may have relapsed? People that without their support system may have relapsed. Right.
A lot of people relapsed. Yeah.
A lot of people probably got on drugs during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is, whatever you say COVID, I say the lockdowns, because COVID was a virus. I caught the Omarion. Matter of fact, I caught the Omarion on my break.
Omicron.
No, Omarion.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I caught the Omarion.
You caught the black folks version.
Yeah. Had me down for 96 hours. But my job, they had me off from New Christmas to New Year's, that break. And I caught it the last 4 days of my vacation break. So, but I was back up at work.
Now, how do you know you caught Omicron or whatever the hell? You got tested?
We went to see my family back in North Augusta. and my kid's mom, she was isolated, but because she had tested. But you know, I went down there to go. I went to go see my daughters, and caught it that way. Nothing's gonna stop me from seeing my kids.
I got a call in the back end. You keep hold on for a minute. I'm calling
Yeah.
my buddy Philippe in South Carolina. I hope he can join in because he's mentioned Norfolk Augusta. I think he's close to Norfolk Augusta. He may answer. We can discuss COVID in Norfolk Augusta.
Your
If he
has been forwarded
didn't
to
answer.
now.
Sorry about that. Keep going.
Yeah, I was in COVID. I was there in the beginning. And matter of fact, all right, so March 3rd, I went to my first Trump rally, right? It was
Oh,
on a
you're a Trump
Monday.
support.
Hell yeah, die hard. Trump
Okay,
fan,
all
Trump
right.
supporter, Trump voter, Trump campaigner, Trump door knocker, Trump sign placer, whatever. Because the man is fighting for what the values that I hold near and dear to my heart. America first, low energy, tax breaks for businesses, so that way everybody can work, including poor black people. Safety, security, which you need in a black neighborhood in order for businesses to be there. So yeah, those are what we need.
Let me ask you this question. Would you vote for someone that was pro lockdown?
Never in 100 million effing years.
Is that the litmus test for you now?
The litmus test, yeah. If you start talking about lockdown, yes. I don't think the Democrats will try that playbook again.
No, that's not what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
If I were voting today,
and
let's say there were an establishment candidate,
right.
The only thing I want to know, bro, how did you respond during that time?
You
lock motherfuckers down? I ain't fucking with that. Period.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go right ahead.
So in the beginning, like I was saying, March 3rd, went to Trump rally. About 4 days later, my house caught fire. 2 weeks later, they started the lockdowns. Now, because I had a house fire, the courts had to give permits to go back and do the work.
Oh,
they didn't open. Right, they didn't open up in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, 30 days. Blah blah blah. Blah,
oh
blah, blah,
shit, man! Hey, man, hold on. I know, man. Please don't tell me where you going. Where I think you're going. But go ahead.
Well, what I'm getting at is, I left North Augusta in June and relocated to an hour northwest of Atlanta, a place where I always wanted to be. So when I got out here, I'm in Marjorie Taylor's Green District. I'm in a Republican stronghold in a Republican city, right? So COVID for us, Fulton County, they were weird, right? But out here, it was just life as normal.
Can I ask you a black man question?
Yeah.
How are your feelings toward, or your thoughts about how black people responded to COVID?
It was mind-boggling because black people are supposed to be the most strong, virile, independent, believe in no nonsense. You know, we don't fall for those tricks from the white man, and they fell for the biggest one of all.
Did you ever think about the Tuskegee experiment? Since you're from the South, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I did, but I can go a step further, right? So, all right. So, mom born in 62. I was born in 82, right? So, I think mom graduated in 81. So, she graduates 81. Young woman, she gets pregnant. 9 months later, I arrive into the world, right? So, we know about the Tuskegee experiment, right? But what about the Gen X millennial experiment? Because all these vaccines that they did, they had to have a test run on them outside of polio. And who knows? I mean, I look at my vaccination records, pre-military, post-military. You know, I've been shot up with everything from letter A to Z.
But yet you didn't want that COVID. Why not?
Couldn't get it. One, it was being forced on us. Two, it was a 10-month vaccination that went straight to market. 3, I didn't trust it. I I didn't trust it.
Yeah, I ain't trust it either.
Yeah.
I'm making another call. Another guy, since you mentioned Atlanta, I'm gonna see if he's gonna answer the call.
But that's something that I've been
Hold
wondering
on.
lately.
Hold on. Hello, you on with John Galt? Hello. Hello. No connection there. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's another thing I've been wondering lately too is what experiments have they been doing with working class, lower middle class, uh poor kids with these vaccines,
Hmm.
along with the Tuskegee experiment.
That's very interesting. You never know. You never know these days. Like, I think everyone should be very skeptical of the government at this point, if they're not already.
Well,
Anyone else want to tell their story while I have Bernard up here? Feel free to jump in the backstage. We'll bring you
hey,
up when we're done, Bernard. Hey, Bernard, did your church close?
the black church, yes. The non-denominational church, they moved everything outside.
Hmm. Do you know that who do you think is the biggest benefactor of that? Of who benefits most from that? I have some thoughts about that.
All right, now when you say who benefits the most, let's hone in on that.
Yeah.
Let's put our sights on what it is, because right now you
Mm-hmm.
gave me a wide target. I'm trying to go for a bullseye or
All
get
right.
close to center mass as possible. So who do you
All
mean
right.
specifically?
You know, my mother was very much into the church before COVID, and
Right.
after the church, she's never been back.
Hmm.
And so now all she does is she watches Joel Osteen on TV on Sundays and whenever he comes on.
Right.
And you know, I equate this to like big business winning all over again.
Mm.
She has a friend in her building that used to go to a little small church, and when COVID hit, of course, the small church, I don't even know if it closed, but the old people weren't going to go anyway, so it might as well close.
Right.
And you know, I told you I've been a software developer for a long time, and one of the biggest things, you know, in software is like scale. You understand? Like
Right.
StreamYard can do this because there are millions of people just like we are here streaming. So they can buy a rack or two from Amazon and they can run a business. But a small church that has 50 people coming in, they can't put on a television show like Joel Osteen.
Right.
So it's hey, call in to, you know, they got a phone call in number. Maybe they have a rinky dinky website that the
Right.
ladies see and all that. And you just
Right.
don't watch it. You end up sitting at home watching TV and you just turn on with Joel Osteen.
Right.
And just like big business won, I think big church won as well.
Exactly.
Right? Big church. Joel Osteen,
Right.
man, he's raking it in now. He has to be. All these churches that closed, they didn't stop going to church. They just started listening to Joel. Right? If their churches couldn't compete with what Joel had off, and he has basically a television show, television studio where he broadcasts. And it's very professional, and I think the money rolled uphill to the people that have the ability to cope with COVID. And those are my thoughts about the
You know
churches and
what?
things like that.
Now that I'm aiming, now that I'm on the target, big business benefited greatly, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially in liberal states. When the mom and
Mm-hmm.
pop businesses were shut down,
Mm-hmm.
somebody had to fill that void, right?
Yeah.
Liquor stores were allowed to stay open. Liquor stores and strip clubs were allowed to stay open, but churches had to close. Make it make sense to me.
The strip clubs were allowed to stay open?
Yeah,
No way.
in certain jurisdictions.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brandon Tatum would talk about that.
the
Brandon
police
Tatum.
officer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Man, someone mentioned something negative about Bernard Tatum. We have to talk about that one day. You have to come back again and bring that
Well,
up, and we'll talk about Bernard Tatum. You know what I mean? I like your show actually, but there were some things that I did not know about him. And someone says yes, strip clubs were open. Laugh my ass off. I did not know that, man. Were you the one saying that you had a family member that was essential or something like that?
essential.
Yeah, an essential worker.
I mean, my kid's mom, my ex-wife, she's a nurse, very
Oh,
talented
okay.
too. Yeah, she been nursing since when I get her pregnant, 2008, since 2007. Yep. Soon as she
Yeah.
graduated nursing school, I was like, yep, locking this one down.
What are your thoughts about an essential worker?
Every worker is an essential worker.
I like that answer.
Our economy doesn't just focus on one thing,
I
right?
like that answer. I love that answer
So
right there. Yeah.
so me, I'm more
Every
blessed. I'm more blessed than others, right? But
yeah.
when I wake up in the morning, right, by the grace of God, see another
Mm,
day, say my morning
mm,
prayers,
mm-hmm,
pray for protection for myself,
mm-hmm,
friends, family, the country, world peace, right?
mm-hmm,
And I pray for wisdom, grace, and understanding. That's what I want. Wisdom, grace,
mm-hmm.
and understanding. I would love to have the riches and all that stuff, but I want wisdom, grace, and understanding. Because if I have those, the money will come, right?
Let me ask
So
you this question. What do you do for a living, by the way?
I am a CDL truck driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you listened to our trucking show?
No, I found your channel because I like
Uh-huh.
Angry Snow. I like Angry Snowman. It was on Angry
Okay.
Snowman.
All right.
I found your channel because of Angry Snowman. Now that I found your channel and I like you, I don't know where you stand on issues, but we can have a cordial conversation
Well, you see what you
as
gotta see what
men.
I said. Hey man, the
As
divine I tell you what the divine line is, man, for the most part is that pure blooded.
Yeah,
For
okay,
most things in life, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of know where
right.
people are. I think that's probably like the clearest line we have in our lifetime, honestly.
That, but after this, you're going to get a new subscriber, and put I'm gonna take your link, and like I said, I'm gonna share it with people who are in my political party, so that way we can build up your base, and they can share it with their people. So I'm gonna do that for you.
Well, I hope we're able to stay on here, man. You know, this is a community focused channel. Like, you know, we're not dancing. Well, you know, I'm not dancing around for super chats or anything like that. As you notice, I don't even have my cash app or anything like that on the banner. You know, I've had a pretty good life, to be honest with you. You know, and some of the tips and tidbits that you know that I have to share that's worth something. How about that? You know, I'm in a position, I think, you know, these people may come after me at some point, but I think I'm in a fair enough position where I don't have many enemies, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so hopefully, you know, I'm able to continue doing this without much risk from
Wait
that
till you hit
standpoint. So,
wait till you hit 1 million subs.
oh man, I probably never hit that. I don't want to be too optimistic there. But
You hit 1 million subs, you're gonna have people hating on you that you didn't even know. You like, man, we just had dinner last week. Yeah, I know. But
I'm not gonna give them anything to hate on, man. You know, everything I try to keep it very positive over here. So
yeah,
um, you know, if you
I
stay
like it, man.
positive, you have a you have a lot of people I think that will defend you. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like they really for most people, there's nothing to defend a man who's negative. Even if they
Mm,
like what you're doing, they're like, well, shit, it ain't worth me putting my neck out on the line. And I'm not talking about defend you physically, you know,
right,
but
right. I got you.
you know what I'm saying? Just may even continue to come to your side if you shadow bad. That can be an attack in a way, right? If you
That's crazy. That's crazy how they try to suppress speech, man. Like
oh man, I've been
I
mm,
never thought that I would see this in America. My
yeah,
biggest
yeah.
inspiration in school was my fifth grade teacher, Miss Isaac, right?
Mm,
And oh man, I don't know where she stands politically. I can guess, right?
mm,
But I remember when Clinton got inaugurated, she shut down the class for the day, and
mm,
she let us watch the inauguration. No school,
mm,
no nothing. And she
mm,
said, the reason why I'm showing you this is because it's the most peaceful transfer of power that the world has ever seen. And we're the only country that does it this way,
mm,
right?
mm,
And to me, it was so amazing looking at the pageantry and looking at looking at the pageantry, when he takes the oath of office. Then after that, they do the march going down Washington D.C. as they wave.
Mm,
Then he
mm.
goes into the White House and they sit down at the desk and they sign the executive orders. And I never missed a presidential inauguration
Really?
either by I haven't I haven't missed the presidential inauguration until 2021, but that's because the election was won, let's just say, by nefarious circumstances.
You
And it
said you were in the
stole.
military, right? Hold on. You said
Yes,
you were in the
sir.
military, right?
Yes, sir.
When you're in the military, you ever point your weapon at an American civilian?
Could
You ever been in,
never could never imagine it. Couldn't
you know,
imagine
man, I
being.
have pictures. I have pictures from the Capitol after January 6th,
Mm-hmm.
where this young soldier, I went up and talked to him. And I said, man, did you ever think you joined the military to have your weapon pointed out at American citizens? He said, this wasn't what I joined for. And I think between that January 6th and that vac shit, it really has destroyed
Yeah.
the military. And we haven't seen it yet. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it's like Miss Isaac. That's what I was telling you about Miss Isaac. I ran into her about 6 months ago. I was at a seafood restaurant over there in Augusta, and I was walking out. She was walking in. Hey, 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 and we caught up. And the thing that I loved about her, she said, "You know what, young man, I'm really proud of you as one of my students." And I say, "Oh man, you have no idea how proud I am of you." And I told her the story once again, and every time I tell her, her heart melts. She's like, "It was all worth it just to hear that comment," because she's retired now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Isaac instilled in me a love and reverence for our system of governance, our country,
Mm-hmm.
that I could never imagine saying something as idiotic as that.
Mm.
Even when I was in on active duty, and thank goodness back then, the powers that be were safe because we didn't have any riots or anything. I was stationed in California, Camp Pendleton, about an hour away from LA. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember the night that they put Tukey, uh, executed him on death row.
Oh, they
Right.
executed
I
him.
was,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tukey Williams, I think it's Stanley Tukey Williams, the former member
Mm-hmm.
of the Crips. He was on death row for a murder he had committed. He
Yeah,
been
yeah,
away
yeah. I
several.
remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
We had, and like I said, it's been what, 20 years. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we were on standby, and I'm doing that in air quotes, just in case. That's the closest I ever got to civil unrest during
Mm.
my time in the military. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it came that night. It happened. We woke up the next morning. We went for a nice PT run. We took a shower and we showed up to work, and nobody ever thought about it. Nobody ever spoke about it again. But
That's the
they
closest you ever
take
came.
that's the closest I can remember,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, we also had we had wildfires and stuff like that where we had to help out the fire department, the typical natural disaster stuff that the military is involved in, right? But
Mm.
it never ever went from natural disaster to civil unrest. So the thought of that blew my mind. But what they've done is, and you can see it with law enforcement, you can see it with the military. Actually, you can see it with our protective forces, right? Not necessarily the fire department; it hadn't got there yet, or EMTs, but they've taken the people who have my mentality, right? I'm here to serve my country. I'm here to serve my community. I'm here to serve my people, right? Am I going to make mistakes? Yes, but I'm going to do it with the best intentions of love and respect for my fellow man and my fellow citizen. We're out. We're out. There's only so much political BS we can deal with. And nowadays, if you're in the military, there's only so many drag shows you can go to for a person to be like, I did not sign up for this. And I'm being nice whenever I
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
when were you in?
Hey. I'm sorry.
When were you in?
Man, you don't want to hear my military story.
I'm just asking you, what years were you in?
The military?
Yeah.
Shit, you should ask me what month was I in. What year? What month?
So I was in 2001 to 2006, right? And by the time I
Yeah.
had came, the older, the
Yeah.
old salty dogs. The
Yeah.
salty is a term in the Marine Corps for people who've been around for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as your camis when we wore the green woodlands, the more you washed them, the faded they got. So it looked like salt, right? Looked like you washed your clothes with salt. So we called them salty dogs. That was a term of endearment, meaning you've been around for a while, right? The salty dogs would tell us, oh, the Marine Corps has gotten soft, right? And I look at it today and I'm like, oh man, the Marine Corps is getting soft. And even though the Marine Corps was getting soft as I was coming in, according to them, I couldn't imagine being in charge of a platoon where there's openly where sex is same sex is openly accepted, practiced, and you have to uh police that behavior. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Hey, live your life.
Yeah.
Right, live your life. But you
Among
know, just
soldiers, it's
imagine.
hard.
Right, but just imagine, you know, you have a roommate who's homosexual, a roommate who's not homosexual, and the homosexual makes a move on the non-homosexual. They get into a fight, a serious injury happens. What do you do as a sergeant, as a
Yeah,
platoon sergeant?
that's very difficult. Very difficult. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it's hard to
Right.
police in the military where there are going to be a good range of alpha type men there. Hey, I need to take a quick break, and we're gonna bring up the next person. So guys, get your questions ready. Get questions for Angry Snowman, for Bernard. If you have Seven Seal is not here anymore, he may be in the audience, but you can direct questions to him in the chat. Give me a minute. We've been going for 2 hours here, and we did about 5 hours earlier. So give me close some tabs. I'll do that before I step away. How about that?
Man, you got a beard. You got a beard that look like Isaac Hayes.
What's that?
I said your beard look like Isaac Hayes. If he would have dyed it, if he wouldn't have been using Just for Men, you got a beard that
Man,
look
you
like Isaac Hayes. I'm
man, you
putting up some stuff, so I'm just looking at the phone. I just looked at the phone now.
oh, give me 1 minute, guys.
Yeah.
And I'll be right back. You can keep talking, then hopefully someone else comes up. I think Provo or Eric or Momo may come up. Give me 1 second, all right?
All right, cool.
Thing, so you don't get the feedback.